just to show you the difference in old grass that hasn't been reseeded. So this is after first cut, so this is the second cut regrowth. We cut hay on the first cut. This part over here where it changes colour, this is the line, this has been cut, second cut, and it's already growing back, it's already greened up, and we're getting regrowth. And that's the regrowth we've got on the first cut. I think even if you cut that now, there's not going to be much to bale. So yeah, I think you're going to get twice as much yield off your reseeded fields as you will off old lays like this. Another thing I wanted to show you is that I've sprayed this with a spray called Hurler at a very low rate. And I didn't spray all the field, I just spread the areas that were showing signs of weeds. And look, you can see where I turned my sprayer on here. Look, see? This is all yellow. And it's just like, it's killing the grass. And that's a really low rate of Hurler with a small amount of Activate wetter in it. Now I don't know whether, maybe you're not supposed to mix Hurler with Activate. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong. I normally use Activate as a wetter with a product called Thrust. I use that for killing pretty much everything, docks, rushes, thistles. But I've never known a spray to knock the grass as much as that. You can see that yellow patch there, I've sprayed all that. I obviously turned it off here. So you can see the line where I haven't sprayed, where I have sprayed. And it seems to be killing the weeds in the same way glyphosate does. It's making the tops go yellow, as opposed to Thrust, which is mostly 2,4-D, I think, tends to just make the weeds wilt and die pretty quick. But yeah, just devastating. It's really knocked this grass. I mean, I'm not going to get another cut off this. I'm going to have to mow it all to tidy it up, because there's places that are long and gone to seed, but there's not going to be a crop on here. It's going to be a case of trying to bale a couple of toppings, but I don't know. We'll see whether or not after this has been cut, whether these docks will come back. I've never seen docks go that colour after they've been sprayed before. But anyway, Mum's been having a bit of a tidy up yesterday with around this hen shed. This is the one we're going to restock first, if it ever happens. God, the APHA, just what a terribly run organisation. Well, is there a well-run government organisation, really? Does one exist? And are they even needed? That's the big question. All this control they're trying to exert over not just farmers but everyone, you know, but farmers especially. They're trying to exert control. They want to know exactly where every item of livestock is at any given moment, and it's just not feasible, and it's also just not necessary. You know, it's not that complex. That the farming that goes on in the country, or in any country, is pretty much the same as it's always been. It's not really that complex. You don't need to know every single detail of where every single animal is at every single moment in time. And not only that, but put restrictions on where they can be moved, because the more restrictions you put on, the more it just makes people think, well, I'm going to have to do things without the consent of the government bodies, because they make it so that it, with the restrictions that they lay on, because the people that make the restrictions are not are not involved in the industry or not and don't live in the real world, they live in an office, they don't understand that a lot of these movement restrictions for blue tongue and TB and whatever are just not feasible. It's not feasible to run a business and run a farm under all these restrictions. So what it does is it just makes people go ahead and do what they need to do, and the paperwork is wrong, because people can't just stop. We can't just stop producing food, we can't just stop moving livestock around, we can't just stop farming, we can't stop running our businesses, but we can change dates on paperwork, can't we? So I think it means all this data that they're collecting is just inaccurate, and it's only ever going to become, even if they collect more data, the data itself is going to become more and more inaccurate over time. I think that's inevitable. And also, the more farmers, and not just farmers, but hauliers, producers, markets, anyone that's handling livestock, the more that they can realise that they can get away with moving dates around and bending the rules, the more they'll do it. And so it's kind of like it's an inevitability that the government control will ultimately end in failure. Well, that's my opinion anyway. I don't know what everyone else's opinion is, but I think it's just in anything, trying to control people and control what they do only ever has a bad ending, really. So anyway, I'm going to go and put the mower on. I think the sun's finally come out, so I'm going to cut some grass. I've been waiting for it to come out all morning. I've been collecting some calves. Got 3 new calves. Haven't filmed them. I will try and show you them at some point in this video. All Angus heifers. So yeah, I've waited long enough. I'm going to mow some grass off and hopefully bale it tomorrow as silage. It won't be a big crop, but it'll tidy the fields up, and hopefully it'll be a reasonably good quality, if not good quantity. So it's Saturday morning, and I decided yesterday, I mowed some grass. It was quite dry when I was mowing it and there wasn't a big crop, and the sun came out at one point, so I decided instead of leaving it till tomorrow to just bale it yesterday. The first field I baled, the bigger field, bales were pretty dry, quite nice. The second field I probably shouldn't have mowed, to be honest. I made the mistake of looking over the gate into the field and thinking that it was definitely ready to mow, and then as soon as I got into the field with the mower, I realised that half of the field definitely wasn't ready to mow. It really didn't need mowing, so that was a bit of a waste of time because I only got 4 bales off. 4 bales off 4 acres. But anyway, it's cleared it all up. All the bits that had gone to seed are now chopped off. So I've got 14 bales off one field and 4 bales off the other. I've got a calf. I've got a new calf in the calf shed, and well, I got 3 calves yesterday. 2 of them, one of them drank all on its own, went to the feeder, didn't have to help it. Last night there was 2 that hadn't drunk, so I pushed them both onto the feeders. I left them both sucking, and then I've come out this morning and I could hear it this morning when I woke up. I could hear it bawling, and I come out and only one of them had actually drunk its full amount of milk. The other one hadn't even drunk enough to register, so which means like less than half a litre of milk it drunk. So I pushed it onto the feeder again, and it takes about 3 sucks and then stops sucking and then walks off away from the feeder. So really annoying. I love calves that do that. So it's probably going to stand in the pen bawling its head off all day. Anyway, I got the bales wrapped last night and then I was pretty tired, so I decided to go to bed because it was quite late. So I'm going to go and fetch in the bales now, and then hopefully this afternoon I'm going to go and pick up some feed and see what the shores are doing. Yeah, this field didn't really need cutting. For some reason it had grown really long and gone to seed by the gate, but the rest of the field, this half of the field, was only about that tall. So a bit of a waste of time, but anyway, quite rich green stuff. But it might grow back. It's quite a fresh reseed, this field, so it might grow back. Baler did really well actually. Quite happy with the baler, and the wrapper was okay. I did have to get out a couple of times. It kept. It was always one of the rolls of wrap kept ripping, and it was always the same one. I'm not sure why. It was almost like it was spooling too much wrap out, and then it was getting stuck to the roll, which is a bit of an old problem. I thought we'd cured that problem, but I don't think there was any knife problems. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, but it seems to be when it's working fine. It's just occasionally it rips the wrap and you can't really figure out why. Anyway, I'll put these 4 bales on a trailer, take them back, and then I should get the other field all on one trailer, and then I can find somewhere in the yard to put them. Happy days. Lovely day today. I've just spotted problem with this second bale that I picked up. This is what happens when you leave bales out for any amount of time. So I wrapped these last night at about 10 o'clock. It was dark when I wrapped them, and it's about 7:30 this morning, and they've already got bird holes pecked in them. So that's why we don't leave bales lying around in the fields around here. Just horrendous. As a rule, I try and always get bales collected in the same day they're wrapped, but obviously it just got a bit late last night, and I didn't think there'd be a lot of bird activity between 11 o'clock last night and 7 o'clock this morning, but obviously I was wrong. Hopefully there won't be too many of them. Just really annoying. Well, I've just come to have a look at the grass reseeding I've attempted to do, and there is some signs of grass coming through. This is the Westerwolds that we planted, so that's quite encouraging. I mean, from a distance it still looked as though it was brown, and it does really, but there's plenty of seeds coming. So it's just desperate for a drink, as is everything, and this field more so than any other, because it's a real sandy field. So we were forecast a thunderstorm, heavy rains all morning this morning, and we got well, a little bit of drizzle, but not enough to wet the floor, and that's it. So there is a little bit of light rain forecast over the next 2 days, and then we're forecast another dry spell with a bit of a heat wave. So it's going to suffer. Anything that has germinated is going to really suffer, I would say, if it doesn't get a drink over the next couple of days. You wouldn't know, but this time yesterday it was wet, very wet on the yard. It rained pretty heavy yesterday morning, which we needed, but I don't know whether we got enough, to be honest. And what with it being really windy ever since it rained, and now the sun's come out, I think it's drying up quicker than it's doing any good. I'm just off, put the mower on because I've got to go and mow a bit of whole crop for someone. I think it's barley, spring barley maybe. think he's gonna try and bale it. And he's got his own mower, his conditioner mower, and he said last year when he baled it, when he mowed it, the conditioners knocked a lot of the barley off. So he asked whether I'd go and mow it with this plain mower to see whether it does a little bit less, well, knocks less grain off the plant. So I'm going to go do that now. It's only a couple of acres, I think. Yeah, I've been out with the digger all morning. I've been through all that big pile of willow and cut with the chainsaw and cut all of the stumps off. So my grab's done quite a lot of work recently. I had to weld it up because the bottom of it got all bent and cracked, so I welded that up before I went. I've just changed the hydraulic oil filter on this because it's still been doing that locking out thing on the tilt hydraulics where it wouldn't let you tilt forwards. So I was asking Mark about it and he said, oh, before we do anything, let's rule out that it's not the hydraulic oil filter, which is this one. And I looked at it and I changed it February last year, 2024, which was about 500 hours ago, and apparently you're supposed to change them every 500 hours. I was very unsure whether it would make any difference. But so far, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but I've put a bale out and I've moved a couple of bales around the yard with it, and it seems to have solved the problem so far. I can't quite believe it. We'll see whether or not it has permanently the more we use it, because it's not unusual for it to occasionally work. So anyway, we'll see. Right, we're going to mow this whole crop off. Well, we'll go down there and see what it's like anyway. This was wheat. It's not too bad a crop of straw, but it looks very short and smashed up. And then this was spring barley that was direct drilled, which again isn't too bad a crop considering how late it was planted. Oat straw today. We've actually got clean windows. I haven't seen my camera for several days, so I'm hoping that it's in one of the tractors. I'm hoping the camera's in this tractor because I haven't seen it anywhere else. Ah, there it is. So back on the camera. Last night I brought some rolled oats and I think there's some beans in it from the shores. They've rolled me some oats and this is what I'm going to try just for giving to the sheep and see whether they like them. If they do like them, I'm going to just start giving them some in a trough and then if they'd like them, I don't think they'd do any harm just having them ad lib in a creep feeder. They say oats are pretty safe to feed sheep. Barley and wheat can be a bit stronger, and they can overdo them. So yeah, I brought a couple of bales of straw because our spring barley that we're supposed to be baling still hasn't been cut, and the cattle are really mucky. So I got a couple of bales from the shores last night. The big bales, these are 5-foot bales, so they're a little bit bigger than the bales that my baler make. Take a bit of rolling as well by hand. Well, I've just got to the field and the sheep are all hiding under the trees, and the water had stopped running, so I'm just filling that back up. I'm going to put some feed in the troughs and I'll go and see if I can send them out. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my dog, so we could have had a working sheepdog demonstration, but he's not with me, so I'll have to do it myself. So the owners of this field like to see sheep on it at some point. We've cut it twice, which we don't normally do. Last year we just cut it once and then put sheep on. This year it's taken me a while to get around to going and buying some lambs. So we ended up cutting it twice, but they want to see sheep on it grazing, but judging by the amount of grass that's on here, I don't think they're going to be on here very long. But still, I've had them for about a week now. So I didn't go mad this year. I just bought 22 what I would call half decent Texel lambs. Texel crosses. So they've got a fair bit of growing to do, but it's quite a uniform bunch. I'm going to try and keep an eye on them this year and look after them a bit better than I have done in the past. And I was thinking with a smaller number it should be easier to do that. Doesn't seem to be any problems yet. See if they go for the oats or just walk straight past them. All heads down. That's a good sign. I had to pay £95 a head for these, which if you'd have said that 2 years ago, you'd have said there'd be absolutely no money in it. But this year, with lamb prices being sort of 150 upwards for a finished lamb, then there might just be some margin, but we'll see. You tell me. Have I made a mistake, or will they make me money? Unfortunately, there's not a great deal of grass, and there's not a lot of grass growth because we haven't had any rain for quite a while. If I can get this JCB to tilt, the power harrow is going in the scrap trailer. Fits in lovely. We've finally taken the power harrow out of the shed. It's cleared a bit of space. It's been lying here for 3 or 4 years. There's not really anything on it that's of any use, so we decided to just scrap it. It's going to cost way more than what it's worth to fix it, and even then it's not really the machine that we want, because it's a 3 metre power harrow and you just can't get it in any gateways. It's a 3.5 metre power harrow, sorry. What we want really is a 3 metre. So we've put it in the scrap. We've got pretty much a full load now to take. All sorts of stuff, so I doubt it's worth a lot. And then we were thinking about doing something with this muck spreader, but we haven't decided. I wanted to chop the top off it and get rid of the barrel in the scrap, and then the idea was to do something with the axles and the frame along the lines of a bale trailer, but I don't know. Can't really decide, but we were looking at it and there's quite a lot of flat, thick, like 5-6 mil flat plate. There's a piece there and a piece on the other side that would be quite handy for something, making sheds or tabs for timbers on a shed or something, but we don't know. It's a lot of work cutting it off, but we will have to have a go at it sometime. Yeah, and then other than that, we're just waiting for straw. Still no signs of any straw. The lads around here don't seem to be very quick on the combining. They don't seem to be in a rush to do anything. We thought we'd be finished straw by the end of this video, middle of this month, but they haven't even started cutting around here. So we've got that to come. Other than that, yeah, I was supposed to be going picking up some new calves today, but we've got one calf that's got real bad pneumonia, so I've jabbed it, but don't really want to introduce any new ones in until that one's sort of got over its ailments. But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, Dan's back from his travels. We put the footings in for the packing shed yesterday, so I'll put a clip of that in just at the end of this video, because we're thinking about making a start building the packing shed, although the APHA are now telling us we can't restock with hens, because every shed has to have hens in it so that they can test to see whether the shed is clear of bird flu. And our plan was only to restock one of them and then restock the other 3 gradually, as we would do normally, so that we've got a multi-aged system, which apparently is not good enough. So they're saying we've got to stock all the sheds to at least, I think it was at least 90% or 80% within like a 48-hour window, which is just completely unfeasible. So we've tried to haggle, we've tried to sort of negotiate just spreading the flock that we've got coming in November out between the 4 sheds, leaving them in for 3 weeks, testing them, and then putting them all back into the one shed. Even that is, it's not something you want to be doing as a producer, because it's just going to stress the hens out. It means you're going to dirty all of your sheds that are all washed and ready to go, which means they'll have to be washed out again. You're going to be moving the hens just when they're about to start coming into lay, which is not very good. But even that they haven't agreed to, so it's looking very much like we're just going to have to give up and wait, because basically they just keep moving the goalposts, and they basically don't want you to restock really within the 12-month window. But what's annoying is when we first got the bird flu and they asked us what we were going to do, they made it sound as though it was very achievable and very feasible and affordable to get restocked within 3 months. And then we've just been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Every time we've done the things they tell us to do, they find a problem, they find a reason to say no, and then here we are, we're getting on towards being like 9 months and they're still saying no. So it looks as though all our work will be for nothing. We'll just have to wait till February, which is quite a long time, because even if we restock in February, we're not going to have any eggs till March, which is a lot later on than what we were hoping for. And all the while you've got no income from eggs, so it's quite financially crippling. But anyway, that's the APHA for you. It's annoying that a lot of the decisions that they're making don't really seem like they're backed by science. Unfortunately, they're just backed by a lack of people wanting to take responsibility. But anyway, there you are. Oh, and just before we go, a grass update. All our grasses look pretty much like this, and they're all burning off. There doesn't seem to be any grass growth occurring now. Everything's going very yellow. I mean, this still looks green, but a lot of our fields have just died completely. So yeah, there seems to be places hearing from other YouTube channels. There seems to be places like Northern Ireland, Scotland, that are getting loads of rain and loads of grass and don't know what to do with it, and other places where it's a lot drier than what we are here. So this is what we were doing last night. We've just I scrapped my idea of having a concrete pad after discussing with Dan, and we've just decided to put a light footing in all around the edge to build our concrete block wall on. We don't know how many courses we're going to go up yet. Probably, well, we hope at least 2, but we'll see how many blocks we've got. It'd be nice to go 3 courses high, and then we'll clad the rest of the walls out with some sort of insulated tin, maybe. I don't know. Got to price a few things up. But yeah, even this job's a bit disheartening, because it's just like, if we're not going to be able to restock with hens now, it feels like, what's the point of building a new packing shed when we're not going to be able to use it till March? But yeah, anyway, I could moan on about it all day, every day, because it just the legislation. I mean, even you're seeing the restrictions on blue tongue, they're just ridiculous. And I think it's getting to the point now where the APHA the restrictions have grown to the point where the organisation that is the APHA is potentially causing more harm to the industry than it is doing good. You know, what would happen if the APHA didn't exist and we left cattle to sort of find their own immunity? See, you know, what would happen with TB if it were just left? You know, it's not going to kill all cattle. I don't think blue tongue is, and I don't think bird flu will kill all birds. But certainly the government legislations around all those diseases are causing a lot of impact on the agricultural industry, from my point of view. But tell me what you think anyway in the comments, if you disagree with me or agree with me. Dan went travelling all around France and he thinks we should move to France.
Yeah.
What's so good about France?
Better weather.
Well, the weather's pretty good here. It's almost too dry. Don't really want it any drier.
Less traffic.
Less traffic would be one.
Less people.
Yeah, but French people.
I don't like French people. Just not Parisians. The only French people are really horrible, are city folk. Everyone else is really nice.
Dan went on his motorbike. He started off from here. And where did you go? All the way to Portugal?
Yeah.
You didn't really do a lot of Portugal, did you? North Portugal?
Yeah, well, right across Portugal. Yeah.
And then he rode all the way back through sort of the west coast of France, was it? Brittany?
Yeah, came up the west coast, through Brittany, through Britannia, and then to Normandy. Yeah.
And then like every time he goes away, he always comes back and says we need to move.
Yeah. It's always depressing coming back to the UK, isn't it?
I don't know. I always find it's quite nice coming back because it's green. From a farming perspective, if you go somewhere like Greece or south of France, you come back here and everything looks green and you just think it's a lot more fertile.
Yeah.
But this year
North,
it's quite dry.
a lot of Spain's like that, but the north coast of Spain's actually really green. Most of France is greener than it is here, although they are irrigating all their maize everywhere.
I bet there's some poor maize crops in this country. If you go an hour south of here, down towards Whitchurch and Shropshire, very, very poor, very, very dry looking maize crops. Whereas around here, they're not too bad, they actually look pretty good. It's only just now really that the grass is really starting to suffer. Well, this JCB, it's gone worse again. We thought we'd cured it. We put a new hydraulic filter in, and it seemed to cure the tilting problem. And then over the last sort of 2 weeks, it's just gradually got worse and worse and worse again. It's really quite annoying. We don't know. Dan says maybe we should drop all the oil out of it and change the oil. I mean, technically it probably should have had an oil change every 500 hours or so. And to be fair, you don't really have to top this up very often because we don't very often take hydraulic things on and off it. We don't use grabs that often, other than when we're in the silage season. So it doesn't lose a lot of oil, so we don't often have to top it up. So it probably wouldn't hurt from having an oil change, but yeah, it's just the expense of it, isn't it? Anyway, if anyone's got any ideas as to why it's only one direction, it won't tilt forwards. Tilts back fine. It's forward tilt that it refuses to do. So anyway, it's very annoying. I think the next thing would be to change the oil. But yeah, anyway, right, we might take this load of scrap after lunch and see how much we get. We've also got a load of copper and aluminium and stuff to take, but we might take that on the Land Rover trailer. So yeah, I think that's it. Bye for now.